What made Star Trek different from other sci-fi shows was its positive outlook. It showed a future where Earth was perfect, where things like income inequality and discrimination were long gone. Star Trek was way more than just a TV show. It became a huge hit around the world. It broke records, packed movie theaters, and turned its actors into major celebrities. But even though it was super popular, there were things fans weren't meant to see. Behind all the cool futuristic sets and fancy costumes were mistakes, hidden details, and slip-ups that somehow made it past the cameras. From goofs on the spaceship bridge to little-known facts about the crew, the series has secrets that only the most observant fans can spot. Today, we're revealing those moments fans were never supposed to notice. Come with us as we take a closer look at Star Trek, an original series, and reveal some shocking secrets you probably didn't know about. The birth of Star Trek is an American sci-fi series created by Gene Roddenberry. It follows the story of the starship USS Enterprise and its crew as they explore the galaxy. The ship is commanded by Captain James T. Kirk, played by William Shatner. Working with him are First Officer and Science Officer Spock, played by Leonard Nimoy, and Chief Medical Officer Leonard Bones McCoy, played by DeForest Kelley. Every episode starts with the famous line about going where no man has gone before. At first, the show was simply called Star Trek. Later, it became known as Star Trek, the original series, so people could tell it apart from the many spin-off shows that came after. Story happens in the Milky Way galaxy between the years 2266 and 2269. That time period gave the series space to explore big ideas about the future and where humanity fits in the universe. The show was first made by Norway Productions and Desilu. Productions from 1966 to 1967. After that, Paramount Television took over making it until 1969. It aired on NBC in the United States from September 8, 1966 to June 3, 1969. But surprisingly, the first broadcast wasn't in the U.S. at all. Canada's CTV network showed it first on September 6, 1966. At the time, our ratings in America weren't very good. Star Trek only lasted 3 seasons and made 79 episodes before NBC canceled it. The show also reached the United Kingdom in 1969, right around the same time as the Apollo 11 moon landing. That timing made its futuristic theme even more thrilling for fans. But Star Trek's real success came later. Through reruns in the 1970s, the show was discovered again by audiences around the world. It became a cult classic and slowly built up its reputation. By then, it was obvious Star Trek wasn't just another TV show. It was a cultural movement that inspired a franchise of 11 television series, 13 movies, and countless books, games, and toys. Looking back, it's now considered one of the most important shows in TV history. Yet the journey to get there was anything but smooth. Asterisk, asterisk, the struggle to get on air, asterisk, asterisk, the idea for Star Trek started in 1964. Gene Roddenberry pitched his draft to Desilu Productions, one of the biggest independent TV companies at the time. He met with Herbert F. Solow, Desilu's director of production, who believed in the idea and signed Roddenberry to a 3-year development deal. At first, Lucille Ball, who was head of Desilu, didn't really understand the project, but she played a major role in pushing the show forward. Without her support, Star Trek might never have been made at all. During development, the concept changed a lot. The first pilot, titled The Cage, was filmed in 1964 and looked very different from the final series. For example, the idea of stardates was added later by Solow. At first, Desilu pitched the show to CBS, but CBS said no because they already had a similar program in development. Lost in space? So Roddenberry had to look somewhere else. NBC showed some interest and agreed to fund the first pilot. But when they saw the result, they thought it was too brainy. Even though they rejected the first pilot, NBC still liked the basic concept. They felt the problem was with the script, not the idea itself. This unusual situation led NBC to do something rare. They paid for a second pilot. That second attempt, called Where No Man Has Gone Before, made all the difference. This time, NBC was satisfied, and the show was added to their 1966 schedule. But the journey to this point was full of changes and risks. And the cast itself also went through some major shifts, building the crew when the first pilot failed. Only Spock, played by Leonard Nimoy, was kept as a character. Majel Barrett, who was in the first pilot, was also carried forward, but in a different role. The second pilot introduced the team that fans would later fall in love with. William Shatner came in as Captain Kirk. James Doohan joined as Chief Engineer. Montgomery Scotty Scott. George Takei was cast as Lieutenant Sulu. At first, Sulu was shown as a physicist, but he later became the ship's helmsman. Dr. Mark Piper, played by Paul Fix, appeared in the second pilot as the ship's doctor, but was soon replaced. DeForest Kelley joined as Dr. Leonard McCoy when filming for the first season began, and he stayed on as one of the main stars. The first season also brought in other important faces. Nichelle Nichols played Lieutenant Awura, the communications officer. She made history as the first African-American woman to hold such an important role on American TV. Grace Lee Whitney appeared as Janice Rand, Captain Kirk's yeoman, though her character left halfway through the season. Majel Barrett reappeared as Nurse Christine Chappell, working alongside Dr. Coy Dot in the second season. Walter Koenig came aboard as Ensign Pavel Shikov, giving the bridge crew even more personality. With this group in place, the USS Enterprise became a stage for not only futuristic adventures, but also groundbreaking casting choices. But even with a solid cast and exciting stories, the show still faced serious struggles behind the scenes. ***, close calls and last chances ***, even before the first episode aired in 1966, Star Trek came close to being canceled. Desilu Productions was in financial trouble at the time. They had gone from producing only one half-hour sitcom, The Lucy Show, to covering two very expensive one-hour dramas, Mission Impossible and Star Trek. This sudden shift left the company short on money. By February 1966, Star Trek was nearly cut off completely. It was Herbert Solow who stepped in and convinced Lucille Ball to keep both shows alive. His faith in the project saved Star Trek at a time when many believed it would fail. Still, even after it finally made it to television, the problems didn't stop. Ratings were low, and NBC canceled the show after just 3 seasons. Yet Star Trek's story didn't end there. Its second life in reruns gave it the chance to grow, reaching millions of new viewers in the 1970s. What began as a near failure became one of the most celebrated franchises in history. This early fight for survival gave Star Trek a legacy of determination, one that mirrored the resilience of the crew it brought to life on screen. Creating a believable world didn't stop with the sets. Costumes, props, and aliens were also brought to life with the help of other talented designers. And those choices became just as iconic as the ship itself. ***, costumes, props. And Aliens ***, Bill Theiss was the costume designer for Star Trek. He created the look of the Starfleet, uniforms that are still recognized all over the world. Theiss also designed costumes for female guest stars and the many aliens that appeared on the show. His work shaped the look of Klingons, Vulcans, Romulans, Tellarites, Andorians, and Gideonites. These designs gave each alien race a clear identity. At the same time, artist and sculptor Hua Chang added his own magic. Chang had worked for Walt Disney Productions before joining Star Trek. He became the man behind many of the show's props. He created the famous flip-open communicator, which some believe inspired the later design of cell phones. Chang also invented the tricorder, a portable device used to scan, record, and analyze data. On top of that, he designed the medical tools for sick bay and the gadgets used in engineering. But he didn't stop there. As the series went on, he also helped create some of its most memorable alien creatures, like the Gorn and the Horta. These designs gave Star Trek a unique look that helped it stand out from other shows of the time. Together, the team of Jeffries, Theiss, and Chang made sure the Enterprise was more than just a set. It was a world that felt alive, and the impact of their work carried far beyond television. Asterisk, asterisk, from TV screens to home shelves. Asterisk, asterisk. Episodes of the original series didn't stay only on television. They became some of the first shows to be released on VHS and Laserdisc in North America. The very first episode released for sale was Space Seed. It came out in June 1982 to celebrate the release of the film The Wrath of Khan. At first, tapes were sold for $29.95 since most titles were rental only. By 1985, things changed. The first 10 episodes went on sale for $14.95, with more groups of 10 following in 1985 and 1986. This made Star Trek the first long-running TV show to be released. Completely on home video. Every episode was eventually available on both VHS and Laserdisc. The success was massive. By 1986, sales had reached 1 million units. Fans could now collect every adventure of the Enterprise and watch them at home whenever they wanted. With new technology, Star Trek kept returning in fresh formats. In the mid-1990s, single DVDs were released with 2 episodes each in production order. In the early 2000s, Paramount reissued the series as 3 deluxe season box sets. These came with behind-the-scenes features and documentaries for fans who wanted even more details. Then in 2009, CBS and Paramount announced the show.